Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video on the channel. Today we have Premier League Game Week 8 predictions. We've got to quickly whiz through this because I actually have to get this video out in 2.5 hours as I speak. So before we get into it, make sure that you subscribe to the channel down below. We have had loads of new subscribers recently, but more from the European predictions. So if you're watching this, then subscribe. Let's get the Premier League percentage up. It'd mean a lot. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. Also, you can check out the Europa League video that went out the other day. It's in the eye. It's not too late as this goes out, so make sure you check that out and subscribe to the channel for notifications when we upload. The Premier League prediction video will be out again the same time next week and week after, because there's no European games for 2 weeks, so just the Premier League ones at the minute. But we might have a few videos mixed in within the next 2 weeks. Me and Philip are planning some, so maybe a manager tier list or some kit tier lists, just something to bring something fresh to the channel. So make sure you subscribe and let me know in the comments any ideas that you have of any potential videos that you want to see. So without further ado, let's get into it with the first game on Friday. It is Brighton taking on Burnley, a mediocre game in the Premier League. Brighton, they gave Spurs a game on the weekend, and Burnley, no wins so far this season, and I think that's going to continue. I think Brighton, Neil Maupay might be back in the squad, depending on his ego, pretty much, to put it simpler. I think he will be back in the squad. I think he's learnt his lesson, maybe. We'll soon find out. But I think Brighton are going to win this game 2-1. Moving on to Southampton versus Newcastle. Southampton had a fantastic start against Aston Villa, but didn't finish off too well. They raced it into a 3-0 lead, soon making it 4-0, I think, and then they ended up they ended up winning the game 4-3. So they could have kept on to maybe 1 goal conceded or 2, but 4-3 they still got the win. James Ward-Prowse, 2 fantastic free kicks, obviously scoring as well. And I think they're going to beat this Newcastle team. Newcastle did beat Everton last week, but they're better at home than they are away. That's a common fact really for any team, but Newcastle especially. Callum Wilson has a couple of goals in his last games, but they are mainly at home. And I think Southampton, playing at St Mary's, I think they're going to pick up the 3 points. I'm going with a 2-0 win for the Saints. And moving on to one of the highlight games of the weekend, Everton taking on Manchester United. Ancelotti versus Solskjaer. Calvert-Lewin versus Rashford. A fantastic game on paper, and certainly one that I will be watching. If this was a couple of weeks ago, then I would definitely favour Everton 100%, but Man United has sort of creeped back up in recent weeks in the Champions League. In the Premier League, they've lost to Crystal Palace, Spurs, Arsenal, and they drew 0-0 against Chelsea in a lacklustre game. But away from Old Trafford, they're certainly better than they are at home. The opposite to Newcastle. They beat Newcastle 4-1, of course, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And Everton, since that Liverpool game, they've not been the same. They lost 2-0 against Southampton, and they lost 2-1 against Newcastle, but last week they didn't have James Rodriguez, and I think he's going to be back for this game, so I'm going to go off the basis that he is back for this game, and I think most of the Everton team are going to be up for this. This is a massive game for them to pick up some crucial points if they want to stay in the top 5 at least, and I think they're going to do that. I think Calvert-Lewin and James Rodriguez are going to link up once again, and the Toffees are going to win 1-0. And now Crystal Palace versus Leeds. Crystal Palace, in their last game, I can't really remember who they played, if I'm honest, and Leeds got absolutely thumped by Leicester 4-1. So Leeds are coming back down to earth in the Premier League. They had a fantastic start, and now they've lost a couple of games. I think they're going to continue a losing run. Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, it's a bit knowledgeable for me that they like keeping a clean sheet at home, and they also win by 1 goal. So for that reason, I'm going with a 1-0 Crystal Palace win with Wilfried Zaha to pick up the goal. And now Chelsea taking on Sheffield United. A nice, easy game for Chelsea after the Champions League games, or the massive running that they've had in the recent weeks. A bit of a cool down on the end of this busy period for them against Sheffield United, who don't have any points at the minute. And again, just like Burnley, I think they're going to continue that way. I'm going with a nice, comfortable, easy 3-0 win for Frank Lampard's side. Now moving on to West Ham United versus Fulham. West Ham on the weekend just lost narrowly against Liverpool 2-1, but they did play well. They gave a good old fight to Liverpool, going 1-0 up, and Liverpool had to fight to come back. And Fulham, they finally won a game. So yeah, Philip could have been here for this, but he's still not. He's not back on his high horse yet. They've picked up their first points though, Fulham, but West Ham, they're still on the roll. Although they lost against Liverpool, I think they're going to pick up 3 points here against a weakened Fulham side in terms of the two started 11s matching up. And I'm going for a 2-0 win for for the Hammers. And now moving on to West Bromwich Albion taking on Tottenham. West Brom were at the hands of that loss to Fulham and still only have 1 point in the Premier League, picking that up against Chelsea. And Tottenham got back to winning ways against Brighton, winning 2-1. In a tough game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I fully expect Spurs to beat Ludogorets in the Europa League and also beat West Brom. I'm going with a 3-1 win for Jose's tricky Lily Whites in a rotated side. Maybe we could see Roden getting his full debut and Bale starting his first game in the Premier League, I think. But yeah, I expect a strong team against Ludogorets and a slightly weakened side against West Brom. West Brom could be tough like the Hawthorns, but I think Spurs have enough to capture all 3 points. And now Leicester taking on Wolves. Leicester versus Wolves is one of them games that you'd expect to bring lots of goals. I don't think that's going to happen this time. I expect a tricky game. Leicester beat Leeds 4-1 on Monday in a fantastic game. Jamie Vardy scoring again. But Leicester, they seem better away from home than they are at the King Power Stadium. And Wolves, they're up and down. They're a strong team, there's no doubt about that. But I think this is going to be a 1-1 draw. I think Leicester will have too much confidence going into the Wolves game after beating Leeds 4-1. They also play Braga, I think, in a tough game in the Europa League. So we can't dispute the fact that Leicester are a decent side, but we can't let it slip that Wolves are decent. And I think they're going to hold up the Foxes in their top 4 charge. And now arguably the biggest game of the season on paper, Manchester City versus Liverpool. Pep versus Klopp. Fantastic game of football, and this always has potential to go either way. I think Manchester City, they're definitely going to be the underdogs in this game, I think, with no Aguero and a few injuries. Gabriel Jesus is back from injury as well, and they beat Olympiacos 3-0 in the Champions League, but Liverpool beat Atalanta 5-0. I didn't even see Liverpool getting a point in that game, so to win 5-0 was fantastic. Diogo Jota is going to be full of confidence going into this game. I think Diogo Jota is going to score as he starts this game. I think Firmino's going to be possibly playing behind the front 3, but I think Jota will score. But I do think Manchester City are going to pick up all 3 points as Pep Guardiola's side beat the champions 2-1. And now the last game on this graphic is Arsenal taking on Aston Villa. A good game on paper from the old 2007 days. Arsenal, I do think they're losing the Europa League against Mould, and I think it's going to continue here against Aston Villa. They've been up and they're certainly down at the minute, but Aston Villa, they have some confidence, I think, getting 3 goals against Southampton late on. And I think they're going to take this to the Emirates and walk away with all 3 points as Jack Grealish dances his way around the Arsenal defence. I think Arsenal are going to lose to Aston Villa 3-2. So yeah, that is it for the video. Make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll have more videos coming out soon. 100% of Premier League ones coming out next week. And possibly a few here and there. So yeah, subscribe to the channel, like, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.